Hello everyone, we are One Up Milliken. I am Ray Tan, this is Nafisa, and we'll be proposing our unique solution to our unique problem.
So, how did we come up with this problem? We went on community walks in our backyard at Milken Park, and we went on Kennedy Road. We even talked to Patrick, an urban planner at City of Markham, who helped us choose the most wicked problem.
So let's get the problem itself. So in Milken Mills, there's a lot of congestion near the pickup and drop-off zone. A lot of cars are idling there, which is a lot of emissions. Additionally, we looked at the sources of error. And so we look at these red areas, this was the bus stop, it's overly packed. And then so it discourages people from choosing the more eco-friendly option. And so what we concluded from our surveys is that poor transportation leads to negative impact on not only the environment, but also on students.
So, Milliken is an IB school, right? So we have students coming from all over. We have students coming all the way from Stouffville and all the way from Scarborough, right? And this is Milliken's population distribution.
So students have to use a lot of time for travel, which cuts into their time for their work, cutting into time for their health. And I personally have to travel 1.5 hours every single day from Stouffville to get to school and back.
So, packed buses, plus unreliable times, plus no flexibility. Obviously people opt to drive, right? And most don't carpool, which means a larger footprint per person. And so congested pickup and drop-off locations leads to pollution because of idling, right? The average Stouffville commuter creates 3,400 kilograms of carbon emissions annually just to go to school.
Not only are there environmental factors, also human factors. Poor transportation leads to students wasting time, times are not flexible nor reliable, and students have to wait more for the second bus. Transportation is also expensive, costing upwards of thousands of dollars, private or public, and as of now, it's very hard to make carpooling groups. And so using our $200, we did some surveys, and this is what students thought about their daily commute. So some words we saw is traffic, hate, inconvenient, sucks, populated, and slow.
So, how might we lessen the carbon footprint caused by commuting to school while improving the commute for students coming from far away?
So from our survey again, we asked students what they believe. And so students believe more frequent public transit, more carpooling systems, as well as a safer sidewalk or safer bike lanes will encourage them for more eco-friendly options. And so, at the end, what we concluded about our solution is that to improve transit and to improve environmental conditions, we must condense transportation by having less transportation and more students using them.
So, two solutions that we thought of was a direct wire T-line, but that proved not to be timely enough, and a private bus line, but it had cost and feasibility issues. So, we proposed a solution that is attainable, different from anything we've seen so far, and feasible.
So we proposed Milliken Connect. Milliken Connect is a software that aims to help parents form carpooling groups by creating a centralized hub of parents that are trusted and vetted through. And the idea is we're addressing the current problem, which is that parents right now are scattered throughout York region and have no way to contact one another. And so we're able to address cost factors because now with more carpooling, parents are sharing the burden of the cost. It's now more flexible and reliable because parents now have more agency over the transportation times and methods in comparison to public transit. Additionally, we're cutting down the time of commute because there's less congestion over the roads.
So, more carpooling means less cars on the road, means smoother traffic, means less congestion in parking lots, which causes less idling, in terms causing less pollution and less emissions. So our plan is projected to cut carbon emissions by up to 86% optimally.
And then so, how do we do this? So this is our Milken Mills Connect prototype. And so what we're aiming for is security, convenience, and connection. So let's look at how we do this. So in the first section, we can see that this is where parents are able to sign up and try to join. So once they put in their information, admin will then email them with the necessary documents for them to sign. And once they've been signed through and they've been vetted through, they go to this second section of the UI. And over here, they'll be able to input their filters that are needed. And our software will create recommendations for them to join carpooling groups. Contact information will then be exchanged once they request to join. And carpoolers, or people who wish to be carpooling, will then have contact information shared and connected. And ultimately, they'll decide their schedules. And ultimately, we're able to connect more parents. And so to make this happen, we'll be working with Milken Mills Computer Science Club. And so we need about $1,000 for the software, the parent coordination assembly, as well as some lawyer fees. And so our goal is ultimately to improve commute for students coming from far, to advocate for more sustainable travel, and continue to work towards a more sustainable future.
So, some of our challenges. In the past, selecting a feasible solution to be delivered in a timely manner. In the present, creating and implementing the app with Contact Club. And in the future, organizing and hosting with parents. And legal management as well, because student safety is our top priority. And so, implementation in April, we'll be starting by creating a team of ComSci and 1UP members to create the app. In June, we'll be securing major partners and preparing manuals. In September, when school starts again, we'll be hosting meetings to gather interest of parents and students. And then in October, we'll hold a parents' conference to demo and coordinate the system.
And so in that case, help us connect parents, help us connect us to a more sustainable future.
We are One Up Milliken. Thank you for listening.
on your desk, there's a QR code. If you want to demo the app, you can just scan it really quickly. During the trivia time, if the judges want to scan it, you can just like take a picture of this. We'll hand it over to you. You guys want it? Okay. Okay, sure. Well, in that case, thank you for your time.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the presentation. You covered so many things in a very short period of time. I appreciate all the things you spoke to about the environment and technology and reducing emissions and improving the experience for students and parents. The one question I have is, for your engagement, you mentioned you did community walks and there was a survey. I'm not sure if you administered the survey or if the school did. But also, did you do any engagement with the parents? Because ultimately this would need parental buy-in in order to want to use the app.
For the survey that we looked at, we got like over 200 something people signing in. And then so what we believe as of now is that for the interest, it was from the students itself, right? And then so by having students expressing their interest of carpooling, they're technically at this point an extension of their parents. And so oftentimes we can see that the solution itself is very popular among students, and by extension that we mean the parents. And we also offer things that incentivize for the parents itself. And so for example, we are offering more reliable times, more flexibility, and so that's something that students and parents look for alike. Additionally, we're also cutting costs, right? Because with this solution with carpooling, I'm sure parents are very happy with this. So we talked to people, with our friends, some other peers, and then so a lot of them have talked about the cost. And then so with carpooling, we're serving a need for parents, which is cutting costs, right? Because we're sharing the cost over numerous students, also sharing the burden of the responsibility of driving students over. And so ultimately, this entire solution is almost entirely positive for the parents. And so that's where we see like the parent commitment as well as the parent positive attitude towards this plan itself. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks for your amazing pitch. It was really compelling. You spoke really clearly and really delved into the issues. Wondering about the parents and in terms of getting their buy-in, and wondering what kind of vetting process that you thought through to make sure that parents feel secure that their parents will be safe, or their kids will be safe.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you. So in terms of the vetting process itself, with the $1,000 that if we do get, we'll be talking with legal situations, so lawyers, and we're asking for things that we can get from the parents. And then so that will include potentially within our plans, we also want to talk to police station. So we're able to get records from parents to ensure that the pool of applicants within our centralized hub are all vetted through. And so that's something that we look for. And so what our platform creates is parents in an area that's all been vetted through by admin. And so what we did see is that school field trips sometimes do have parents carpooling with another, right? And so there's forms that admin have to go through. And then so this means it's a proven concept, right? And so we'll have parents sign through forms having their consent regarding the carpooling. We'll also have parents send in certain information like their driving history and insurance to make sure they're vetted through. And at the end of the day, our software is connecting parents up. We're helping them pair together. And the ultimate decision factor towards whether or not they choose to carpool is based on if the parents want to do it. There's exchanging the contact information between the parents, and the parents then figure out if they want to talk to each other and continue on with the carpooling. And so ultimately, the trust piece comes from the parents themselves between each other, not from the app. And so I think that's how we're able to ensure that the trusting process is held in the hands of the parents. And so does that answer your question of sorts in terms of the vetting process and then trustworthiness for parents?
Yes, thank you.
Two questions from me, and I know you're gonna have to keep them short. The first question is, do you know if your computer science club has history in actually building an app, because that can be harder to do? And my second question is, you said you looked into working with your Cleveland Transit on what's called the school special, but you didn't specifically say if you actually talked to them to actually figure out the issue. And I wonder if this project doesn't necessarily get off the ground, whether more transit advocacy would actually help and develop.
Sure. So for the first question, you're asking about in terms of creating the app and feasibility within our own competencies, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in terms of the people that we have within Milken Mills Computer Science Club, most of them are very proficient and have made apps in the past. Like Ayan Nori has made his own website. I've made my own websites in the past. And then so in terms of apps, we have a similar capability in terms of that. And then so there's a lot of grade 12s who are currently in IB and they do have hobbies at that. And then so they've all had experience in terms of making apps. And so that's where we'll be drawing our experience in terms of making the app itself feasible for parents to use. Additionally, with the money, in terms of like the API costs and everything else, those will be assorted within the cost if we do have the $1,000. And so those will also be addressed. So in terms of feasibility of making the app itself, I think we have all the necessary resources if we do get the funding, as well as the necessary experience from the students that we have in our school. Yeah.
Okay, so for your question on the YRT, we did contact YRT, but YRT is a little rigid in its
So as of now, we did contact. So that slide was talking about our previous solutions that we did consider, and then so we ended up opting for the carpooling, right? And then so the path that we did for YRT was that originally we did want to work with YRT with increasing the amount of public transit. However, YRT is they're like a large company of sorts, and so they're very rigid in terms of the processes, right? And so to make anything happen, it takes a long time. And so we opted for a more solution that was more timely. For this one, if you look at our next step, which is here, the entire process lasts maybe about a year at most. And then that means we're able to reduce emissions faster. We're able to have less people driving, more people getting to school on a timely manner. And so at the end, we chose our solution because YRT, we did contact them, but they were very rigid and very structuralized, so that wasn't going to happen. So we ended up with the carpooling solution. Does that answer your question of sorts?
Sure.
Are there any more questions? Nope. Okay, well in that case, thank you for your time and thank you for listening to our presentation.